All right, what's going on, guys? So this is going to be the first video of my Fixing RuneScape's early game series, where we talk about some of the big issues that new players may experience and how Jagex can fix them. This video is going to be a little bit critical, but again, the point of it is mostly, hey, these things should really be fixed because these are going to be really big turnoffs for new players. So first things first, we're going to delete this interface to show one of the many issues that there are with cats. Cats are required for quite a few early game quests. You get it from Gertrude's cat, and you need Gertrude's cat for a million quests. You need it for the Evil Dave quest. You need it for rat catchers, which I don't think you need rat catchers for anything like mega important, but the Evil Dave's quest is a good source of agility experience for irons. Ichtharlin's little helper, you need a cat for that, and I'm sure there's more that you need a cat for. With all that being said, cats are clearly pretty important for the early and mid game. I just had to sneeze, so that's why this video is going to be choppy. I just had to sneeze like 4 times right here, so 1 second. Okay, I sneezed and it was awesome. So here's the issue with cats. First, one of the main settings that most new players are recommended, especially if they talk to more experienced players, is in your summoning, you have this hide familiar options. What this does is that when your pet is out, you can't accidentally click on them. This is really important with combat familiars because clicking on them means not pressing your abilities. This can get you killed at boss fights. Let's see how this works with cats. So we drop our cat to put it out, and there is no secondary option for this. What this means is we can't pick up our cat at all. Now, you can kind of pick it up with your summoning interface, but that's another issue for new players. Summoning your cat or putting your cat down doesn't open the summoning interface. So if you're a new player, you'll put down your cat and just not know how to interact with it, and that's not good. So for new players, you right click here and it's follower details. Also, open pet interface doesn't open this, it opens this settings. This is just not useful at all. So okay, let's go in here. We do our follower details. We have call, which calls our cat to us. Then we have this dismiss and dismiss now. If you click dismiss now, it forces your cat to run away. This is bad. I was gonna be toxic, but I don't think being toxic helps anyone. This is extremely bad. There is literally zero reason ever to want your cat to run away. If you want to save bank space, you can donate your cat for 200 death runes. And if you just want to pick it up, you would hope that dismiss now just puts it in your inventory. It doesn't do that. So let me actually go and get a kitten and show you the interface. Okay, so it turns out I can't get another kitten until I get rid of this cat, so we'll see what the dismiss option does. I was gonna do the dismiss now for just to show you what it does, but I don't want to lose this cat. So if you click the dismiss button, it gives you the option to pick up pet, which is good, or release pet. If you click dismiss now, it just sends it away. Again, we already talked about why you should never do this. Dismiss now should always just pick up your cat. Also, dropping your cat should open the summoning interface. I think just cleaning up these 2 interactions will help new players understand what they need to do with cats a lot more and not end up ruining their early game experience. Again, you need cats for a lot of early game quests, and rat catchers with a kitten is miserable. I did it. I got extremely lucky with my kitten. Most people are going to have a horrible time doing rat catchers. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the Nexus. The Nexus is really good for new players because it gives a finite amount of XP for free. So if you either don't have money or you're an Iron Man, the Nexus gives you about 40,000 XP, which gets you from 1 to around 43. Super, super good. The issue is that this is not possible to do solo. Naturally, that makes this very inaccessible to new players. I'm very lucky that I have viewers. So like when I'm streaming, I could get viewers to come and chat and help me. But the fact that you can't solo this makes this essentially useless for new players that don't have friends to play with. So again, this is a very simple fix, but the fix for this is just to make each one of these streams last a little bit longer. You want each one of these streams to last like 3 or 4 seconds longer. So basically the way this works is you want to light up each different bowl so that there's 4 different color streams. So that's what I'm doing here. And you'll notice that I will be able to light this last one up, but it's going to run out. This white one is going to run out before I get to it. So even with your max mobility, maybe with a mobile switch, you could get this done. But again, this is supposed to be a new player activity. What new player has a mobile switch? So this is just not possible for new players to do, especially solo. With 2 people, it's totally fine, but this should have been a pretty good demonstration of how this just isn't doable solo. Again, the fix for this, very simple. Each one of these streams should last like 10 seconds longer. I don't think there's any benefit to gatekeeping this from players who either don't have friends or just started, so they haven't asked their friends if they play or not. Very simple fix, but it is a fix that needs to happen because this is vital for new accounts. Getting your protection prayers on a brand new account makes it so much safer. Okay, this next thing annoys me so much, so it's going to be really hard for me to not be ultra critical here. Action bar binding is really cool. It's awesome. You get to set all of your action bars to do different things based on what your main hand weapon is. So if you want to hybrid or something, or if you just want to switch your main weapon without it being a whole thing and having to manually change all your bars, action bar binding is sick. There is one major issue with action bar binding. If you had to guess, what do you think pressing this 10 button does? This is just the number action bar that I have. What do you think pressing this does? Pause the video here, think about it for 10 or 15 seconds. Just think of all of the possible uses pressing this button can have. Now that you've unpaused the video, whatever you guessed is wrong. Here's what happens. Let's say you're pressing all of your abilities and you go to, either you're inexperienced or you are just being lazy and you try to click your first ability and you misclick. So you click this middle button. It changes your top action bar to your first action bar. I don't know what possible use case this could have. This is just horrible. That's all there is to it. Whoever designed this, don't do that. That's bad. Fix this. This either needs to do nothing or it needs to do the right click option, which is bring up this drop down menu. The fact that it sets your top action bar to whatever your first action bar is has killed me so many times. I have no clue why this is in the game. If any other game had a UI element that disabled all of your abilities, the community would have a field day about it. So I'm just saying it here. Jagex, please fix this. This is the single worst thing about RuneScape. It's worse than MTX. This is the worst thing in the game. Please fix it. Thank you. Okay, no more flame. So this next one is basically impossible for me to demonstrate because I've already put like the highest tier stuff on both of my accounts. But on your tool belt, you can put hatchets and pickaxes up to, whatever the highest level that you can put is. Something that's weird here is that you can put the highest possible level hatchet. So let's say on a brand new account, the first thing you did was somehow get an Encamdo hatchet. You can put an Encamdo hatchet on your tool belt, theoretically, with 1 wood cutting. However, and so to be clear, it will scale down to whatever your wood cutting level is. So on my iron, when I got to level 40, it instantly upgraded to the level 40 hatchet, even though I had a rune hatchet basically from day one. all I did was put one rune hatchet on my tool belt, and that just counted all the way up to the top, which I think is really cool. It's super useful. This is not how pickaxes and mattocks work. Pickaxes and mattocks will not go on your tool belt if you do not have the level to wield them. That's fine. It's a little bit annoying, but it's only annoying because of how hatchets work. My suggestion is these should just all be exactly the same. They either need to all not go on the tool belt unless you have the level for them, or all go on the tool belt and then scale down to whatever your current level is. This isn't the biggest deal. It's just a little annoying. And again, it could be hard to explain to new players that, oh, this works this way because, and this works this way because not. Again, not the biggest deal, but is worth noting. So this is another pretty minor issue. I was doing Elemental Workshop and the wiki says that there is supposed to be a thread in this crate, I believe. It's supposed to be in the northernmost crate in the eastern room. So I just got this thread. On my iron, this thread was not here. It's not a big deal. I have thread in my bank, or I had thread in my bank on my iron, so this like doesn't matter. It was a very minor inconvenience. But the wiki does say that there is thread in this crate. When I did it on my iron, I did it on stream. I checked this crate. There was no thread. I just did it on my main. There is thread. So it could just be an iron thing. It could be a weird glitch. Either way, hopefully this gets looked into. Just, it helps when the wiki is accurate to what's in the game. Okay, so this one is just a weird quirk from when you're doing a bunch of these quests where you need to go to Cairn Isles. If you approach these rocks from this side and hit climb rocks, if you approach them from the north, you'll get this "you can't reach this" button. This is just kind of annoying. I would like to see this fixed. What it seems like is happening is by clicking it from this angle from far away, it tries to climb it from the top, which obviously you can't reach. That's just annoying. Something I'd like to be changed. Yeah, if you can see, if you like right click from up here, this is actually 5 sets of rocks. So I believe if you don't click on like these bottom 2, you'll just get the "you can't reach this" button. So again, minor annoyance. A second click will just fix this. Not a big deal. Would be nice to have it adjusted. Okay, so now we're on my iron. This is probably one of the more important things that need to be adjusted. And the big thing is teak logs are extremely prohibitive on brand new accounts. Now, there are ways to get access to teak logs. It's not like the worst deal ever, but basically all of the teak trees are locked behind quests that are pretty hard to get to or extremely far from banks and bank deposit boxes. This account hasn't done any of the quests to unlock teak trees. The reason why teak trees are so important is that you need them for your fort, which is really important on irons and on main accounts, honestly. But irons need to get their own teak logs. These are so important to make all of the buildings, and you could actually get access to, or rather, you can start to need these really early on in the game, right? Like if the first thing you did is, okay, I'm gonna get my levels for the fort and unlock fort, you can just kind of build out all of the stuff around fort, and you'll need teak trees on like day 2, which is fine, but it's worth considering how far away these things are. So again, I don't have any of the quests done. The big quests that you need in order to unlock teak trees are Thrones of Miscellanea, just to get them from Miscellanea. Tai Blow One-Eye Trio, that quest has pretty high requirements. Monkey Madness, that quest has pretty high requirements. Legends Quest, that has really high requirements. Cabin Fever, that has decent requirements. Those are all the quest locked ones, and the rest of them are southeast of Uzer, southwest of Castle Wars, northeast of Karanja. So let's just take a tour of all these. I'm going to speed up the video of me actually getting to these places, but it's bad. If you need a lot of teak logs, which I did, I needed 480 of them. This is miserable, and I could see players quitting or just stop investing in the fort until they finish throwing, which that's not good. So the first one is in Karamja. Let's see how long it takes us to get there. And here we are. This was about a 50-second walk. The closest deposit box is probably, well, the closest deposit box to a teleport is probably going to be the Runecrafting Guild. You just teleport with your Wicked Hood and there's a deposit box right there. Running 50 seconds, including your teleports to and from, it's going to be like a minute and 10 seconds. A minute and 10 seconds for each full inventory of this sucks. This is not fun. Let's check out the one in Uzer. Okay, so we're coming up on them now. This was about a minute and 10 seconds. Luckily, it is a little bit better because you pass by a bank on the way here, but that's so long to get here. Finally, the last one is southwest of Castle Wars, so let's show that one. Now, if you don't have the Castle Wars teleport, then your fastest way is actually teleporting to Yano. Getting a Castle Wars teleport at this point in the game isn't too bad, but again, let's just say, you know, you don't have it. Okay, so this Teak Trees here, this one's actually relatively close to a teleport. So if you do have the Castle Wars teleport, this is only like a 40-second walk, and then you're teleporting straight back to a bank. But still, this is like 50 seconds to get here, and then there's only one tree, so you don't get to cut them as fast as you do in the other spots. This is not fun. You need to do 20-ish, well, like 15 inventories of Teak Trees in order to fully build up your fort. This sucks. Period. That's all there is to it. This is horrible. If you don't have a Grace the Elves, which most players aren't going to have, if you don't have a Teak log box, which again, most players probably won't have because it requires decently high fletching, and you just kind of don't need fletching early game anymore, especially if you're pursuing necromancy. So I don't have the fletching requirement for a Teak box, so I was particularly punished by this, but if you do have the fletching, it's not as bad. But again, this is just so far from everything that you end up in a situation where, okay, if someone isn't prepared for this grind and they're just a brand new player, oh, well, the fort says I need Teak frames, where are Teak logs? Oh, they're over here, let's go. This sucks. You're spending how many trips? What, 15 trips? You're spending 20 minutes just walking back and forth to the Teak Trees, and then you actually need to cut the 480 logs or however many logs it is. The fix isn't obvious, so you could just move these closer to certain teleports. You could put bank deposit boxes here. Both of those are options. Giving newer players a teleport that just coincidentally is near a Teak Tree isn't too bad. But it is unfortunate that a lot of the teleports to these places are locked behind fairy rings and just quests in general. Especially since players who are brand new to RuneScape don't know that these quests are there. That's just a lot. I can imagine that being extremely frustrating and enough to make someone quit. So that's why I bring this up. But yeah, in the first couple of weeks, those are the big things that I saw that I would want to get fixed. So hopefully this gets enough attention that maybe some of these get fixed in the next coming weeks. But yeah, I'll probably release one of these videos every week or every couple of weeks just as I'm playing on my iron. So be on the lookout for that. And if you have any issues with some of the early game stuff, make sure you drop them in the comments below, and I will highlight them in my next video once I test them myself. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.